Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's Barb Pitcock here with No Guts, No Story. As you come on, let us know where you're watching from. Maybe you're watching the replay. Maybe some of you are on the podcast. We are broadcasting live every Saturday morning, No Guts, No Story. You can find us on Apple, Spotify. Last week I had an amazing guest, and today I am coming into you from the great state of Arizona. I came for some grandbaby love and super excited about today. So I'm going to make this short, busy day ahead, but I'm super excited about the topic. And today I want to talk to you about what you are collecting. So all of us store up things. All of us have a past and we have a future and we have where we're at, right now today. And what I want to talk to you a lot about is what you've been storing up. And all of us do it. All of us do it every single day. We have experiences, we have traumas, we have tragedies, we have victories, we have setbacks, we have challenges, obstacles, whatever you want to call them. We collect all these things. Like when I was growing up, I had an Aunt Babe. She collected spoons. So I started collecting spoons. Some people collected thimbles, some people collected stamps, some people collected coins. I did that a little bit, but didn't travel a lot when I was a little girl growing up. So we collect things and we store them up. It's like, oh, I got one. I've been here. I want to keep it. Well, I started collecting spoons. And when Dave and I got married, I had this big spoon rack. And then as we started to have experiences, I got another spoon rack. And pretty soon I had a collection of all the places I'd been, all the things I had done, all the memories I was storing up, right? Well, some of you know I've been on this incredible journey with a new Audible that I'm listening to, and it has got to be the most amazing transformation I've ever experienced. Transformation doesn't happen because you make a decision or you learn something. It's experience. It's experience. So what happens is when you have a bad experience, you collect that and you store it and you say, this is it. This is the way, the life, the truth. This is what happened to me. And it gets heavier and heavier and heavier, just like the spoon collection hanging on your wall, just like the coin collection you're dragging along wherever you move, whatever you do. And your willingness to let go of these collections is not easy. At one point, I just stopped buying spoons, like, why do I need 100 spoons hanging down my wall? And it was hard to stop because I had so much invested in it. It was hard to let go and be like, but once I forgot about collecting spoons, really didn't think about it much. I do collect coffee cups. So everywhere Dave and I go, I have the coffee cups. And sometimes I will look at a coffee cup that's like Salt Lake City, Utah, or San Diego, California, or maybe it's a cruise that we were on where either I had a good or a bad memory. And when I look at the coffee cup, it's in there. It's, oh, that was a horrible cruise. I remember just exactly where we were, what happened. There was tragedy happening in our life. It was traumatic. There was a shift. There was a lot of anger, like whatever it was. It triggers you to remember exactly where you were, what happened that day. Think about where you were on 9/11. I still remember I was in the house that we grew up with. My sister was renting it from my mom. My little nephew Braden was only a couple of months old. I think Brooklyn was probably 4 or 5. I can remember exactly where I was because of the emotional impact. And I want you to think, how old are you? Drop in the comments, comment, how old are you? How many years have you been storing up all these memories that you're collecting? And you're hanging on to them because this is my life. This is who I am. And the thing about it is, you're going to have these emotional problems on this spiritual path that you're on until you let go and release. And so this week I've been working on this incredible series, and it's talking about release and relax. Now, when you release and relax is not when it's too late. And this particular author speaks in prisons. And any of you who are very close to us, any of you who are from our hometown, you know what my journey is. Outside of my business, outside of my personal life, you know what my journey is because you live around me. You see me every single day. And I'm a person that wakes up, finds the good, looks for the positive, and I fix the problem with a solution, not focusing on the problem. I am solution oriented. So I'm a fixer. I'm a handler. I'm a let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And as a result of that, I store up everything. Everything. If you are my family and you get sick, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to leave your side. If you are my child and you are heartbroken, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to leave your side. And I look at my storing up of collections, and I want you to look at your storing up of collections. And I've noticed when I wake up first thing in the morning, I have a dominating thought and I fight it. I fight it and I say, Satan, get out of my head. You know, I pray, I meditate, I fight that collection that I've stored up. It's not even reality, you guys. It's trauma. And every single one of us tries to normalize trauma. We try to stuff it down. We try to get rid of it, put it back down in the hole, and so we don't just explode, right? So this audible that I'm listening to, this guy speaks in death row prisons. And he was talking about a conversation that he was having with one of the number one most famous serial killers on the planet. And he said, I understand him. And I almost wrecked my car. Like, how can you understand this? And he said, all of us have trauma from childhood, emotions. Some people call it demons. Some people call it, you know, generational curses. Who knows who's right? Everybody's got a theory, right? But nobody knows your problem because it's your problem. And he talks about how the reason why this serial killer did what he did is because he had to release the energy that was stored up over years and years and years. And I'm like, one minute, I'm like, I love this author. And the next minute, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to listen to him anymore. But I kept listening. And I was on lesson 7. I will never forget it. I was driving, I was listening. And he said, these emotions that you have collected become so strong that there is a habit that you form where the energy is released. So for some of you, you eat. You call it emotional eating. You could lose 100 pounds, but because of whatever happened, you don't know what my mommy and daddy did. You don't know what my ex-husband did. You don't know what my, boss did. Like whatever happened in your life, you're storing it. Your energy release happens when you become an online shopper. You're a hoarder. You're an emotional eater. You're whatever happened. You are you because that's the journey. That is what the universe said. You're going to come down to this earth. You're going to live this life. And this is going to be your journey. And the reality is, you guys, we can't really fight the journey because that was God's plan for us from the day we were born. What we can fight is the way that we react, the way that we release the energy. And so I was listening to it and I really learned a lot about myself. And I would encourage all of you to listen to it. I'll drop the link to the Audible at the end of this. But these emotions that you stuff down become so strong that a habit is formed. And the habit is, if I start to feel this, then I do this, then I'm going to get this. It's why someone will go drink a jug of whiskey. It's why someone will go steal a car. It's why someone will be an abuser. It's why someone will have an anger outburst and break everything in the room. And then the next day, they would be sorry. I didn't mean to break your favorite painting. I didn't mean to upset you on your prom night. I didn't mean to call you all those horrible names. I didn't mean to get drunk and pass out in front of the kids or whatever your reality is. I didn't mean to max out the credit card shopping on QVC or Amazon now. I didn't mean to go spend all of our money gambling. It's an energy release where people develop this addiction, this habit that they do over and over and over. Some people are bullies. Some people are narcissistic. Some people, they will get in a great relationship and then they have to mess up the great relationship. It is a stop program where they're stuffing down the energy that's trying to come out. Now, my dad was not an alcoholic or a drug addict. Every one of his siblings were. Everyone struggled with addiction. And he lost his only brother to suicide. So Dave and I could really connect on a lot of levels of trauma and family. We both had single moms. Like when we came together, it was like, oh my God, like this had to be divine purpose, right? We were just the yin and the yang. Like we just completed each other. And we were both struggling with childhood trauma. And in the beginning of our marriage, we would load up the kids. So I had my dad's mom, and my mom's mom had passed away, but my mom's dad was still, alive when I was a young girl, died right when Dave and I got married. My dad's mom was alive. His dad's mom and dad were alive. His mom's mom was alive. His mom's alive. My mom's alive. My dad's alive but missing. You know, like we would get our kids dressed for Halloween and we would literally go, Grandma Pitcock, Grandma Dumler, Grandma Zorn, Grandma, you know, Nana Cindy, you know, Nana Lana. Like we would make the rounds to the point that even by the time we were done trick or treating, we were physically and emotionally exhausted before we got to like one of my clients or one of my good customers or one of my best friends or even my brother and sister's house to trick or treat, because we were trying to be okay in a very dysfunction junction. You know, Dave's dad was an addict and he was struggling with addiction at the time. Dave's brother was still alive and he was struggling with addiction at the time. And we stored up all these programs that we got to be okay in the middle of all this, right? Well, fast forward in my chapters in 2000, there is an incredible amount of fear and guilt and shame and excuse and regret and just every poor negative emotion that there is. And having a lot of abuse and low self-esteem in my early years prior to Dave, what I try to do is I have formed a habit where I can fix it. Everything's going to be okay. Let me come and rescue you right now. Because I was the oldest of 5 trying to fix it and rescue. And I do it in my business. I do it in every relationship that I have. I just want to make it all okay. And sometimes you just got to say, it's not okay. And that's okay. But you know, we sacrifice our own health, our own sanity. You sacrifice your own health, your own sanity. You sabotage business, relationships, friendships, your marriage, your health, everything based on energies that you store up. So like my spoon collection, what are you collecting? Like my mug collection, which I love my coffee mugs. Like don't ever ask me to get rid of them. I still have Disney from 2011. And when I look at it, I'm like, my kids were at Disney. And then the first thing I think of is my daughter's ex-boyfriend that ruined the entire trip. You know, like you can literally attach an emotion and an energy to every date and every memory in your life. And Disney this past year, I mean, we went to Disney last May. And although I love Disney and it's the most magical place on the planet, when I think Disney, I think pain because of a chapter that I was in the middle of during the Disney trip. It was the biggest waste of $25,000 I've ever spent in 4 days. But when I look at my youngest daughter, Callie and Darian, running to the you know, Animal Kingdom ride, I mean, they literally were having the best time of their life. When I think of when Brooklyn was 18 and we were at Disney and I was dying inside, I think of Brooklyn on my shoulders at the age of 18, watching the electric parade like Mickey Mouse was her best friend. Like all of us can associate joy and pain to every memory in our life because this is ebb and flow. This is life. Life is, and some of you are going to disagree with me, it is redemptive suffering every day of your life until you die. And then you're going to be pain-free, right? So we expect things would be easier. We expect things would be less suffering. But here's the reality. They're not going to be. We have to get better if we want things to get better. And so I want you to imagine you get in your car, you drive 100 miles per hour, you look at where you're going, you get afraid, and then you jump in the back seat. That's going to be not good. That's not going to be good for anyone. And if you're not there, there's trouble. And in this body that we're all in, if we're not there, understanding what's coming up, understanding how to relax and release. And I wrote some notes. I want to talk to you about this. Relax and release. Not a weekend retreat, not a Saturday morning 1 hour live, a lifetime of relax and release. Because the energy will make it past, it'll come up, and then you're either going to lash out angry, you're going to quit the business, you're going to stop the relationship, you're going to run from the love, you're going to resist the opportunity because when you were little, you learned that if you touch the stove, it's hot and you got burned. You don't say for the rest of your life, I'm never going to cook on a stove. I'm only going to use a microwave because stoves are hot, stoves are dangerous. I got burned and I'm running from it. You can't do that. So when you manifest these blockages mean the last time I was in a company, those people screwed me. I'm not doing this again. I'm going to run. I'm going to go start a new thing. See, I can think about a lot of stop programs that have happened in my life to where I would say, this is why I'm never doing it again. I will tell you one exact situation: network marketing. I'm a young girl. I fail 5 or 6 times. I'm miserable. I tell Dave I'm never doing it again. Dave joins. I say, good luck. I'm not doing it. We become millionaires in the company. I resist the blockage. I love it. I just expand. Life is amazing. Money is coming in. Freedom is there. We're living the dream. We lose Dave's brother. Money is bad. God is bad. I'm never doing this again. I hope the income doesn't stop. It's hot. Don't touch it. I don't want to. It must be bad. All of this pain is happening. I'm not going to talk to anyone. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to be transparent ever again. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I can't let people see me fall. Like, this is all the energy coming up, right? So I'm trying to fix it. And Dave goes through the worst depression. I literally thought he was going to die of a broken heart and guilt and regret. And his mom too. And after suffering for so long, one day I wrote them a letter. It was scathing. I was hurting. I was mad. I was angry. We never really discussed it all. We just picked up and started to begin again. We all process energy different. For you, it might be anger. For me, it might be being codependent and fixing everyone. For another person, it might be hiding it all and being the strong mom that doesn't let anyone know what's going on with your husband or your child or whatever it is. We're all different. I think about my dad, and I used to hate my dad. And honestly, as a young girl, I hated my mom too. Now she's my greatest hero in my entire life. She is the warrior of all warriors, and she is the most successful, most selfless, amazing, loving, giving, generous, non-judgmental. Like, she invites strangers off Interstate 70 to my Christmas table because they are homeless and come to the campground, right? I learned from the best. I learned from the best. And I have allowed people to not even want my love, but I give it, not even want my help, but I give it, take advantage of me, use me, bully me, abuse me. Like, I have done that a lot because I learned from an incredibly selfless, loving, damaged mom that got up and said, I am amazing, right? And so I love her for that. I thank her for that. I look at my dad growing up. I completely understand him now. His anger, wanting to beat the hell out of me, wanting to go and be with another woman when he was married to my mom, over and over and over and over again. Honestly, this series I'm listening to makes me realize he was struggling to feel loved and not abandoned. And no amount of love from my mom or honesty or loyalty or we are a family unit could fix his broken childhood. So I blamed him. I literally blamed him and hated him for years of my life. I have seen my dad, I think, 5 times since Brooklyn was born, and she's 29. But I love my dad. And I surrender all of these emotions that I have pushed down because I am who I am because of my mom and dad. The Bible says, honor your mother and father all of the days of your life, all of the days of your life. That means forgive them and love them and honor them. And one commandment is not different than another commandment. While you're judging the person that steals from you, while you're judging the person that lied to you, while you're judging the person that committed adultery with your husband, like, you're just as guilty because love one another is in there too, right? So the more we hate and we don't forgive, one sin is not worse than another. And I'm not a Bible scholar, so don't crucify me on this live, but I'm telling you, the minute you understand this energy, you're going to be so free. You got to find a way to manifest what you want by releasing the energy and letting it come out, And so you don't need anything to not be lonely. You say, oh, I have a broken heart. I need someone. I'm so lonely. No, there's an energy blockage between your soul and your heart. Your heart is blocking the energy for you to not feel lonely. People will say, oh, you know, I don't think that I'm very good at something. You're blocking the energy from your mind, from your spirit, being able to come up with the next business idea. You know, a hollowness in your heart is only there because you won't let any energy go there. I really think my dad had a hollowness in his heart. He's still alive. I plan to go see him very soon. Um, my dad was abandoned at a young age. His dad died. My grandma remarried. It was just my dad, his brother, who later took his own life, and my dad's sister. Well, my grandma remarries. The guy's an alcoholic. He abuses her to the point she's in the hospital. His mom is carrying a baby that's just a couple years older than I am. So my dad's like 17, 16, because mom and dad had me when they were 18. And just imagine this, his mom's beaten. She's in the hospital, and the ex-wife of the new husband dies, and these 4 kids come to live with my grandma and her abuser. And my dad, all of a sudden, went from 3 of them to 7 of them, and he doesn't know any of these kids, but he's the second to the oldest. And then his brother goes to Vietnam, comes home, and commits suicide when I'm 5. And I think about all of that energy stored up. I probably would have hit somebody too. I probably would have beat the shit out of somebody. I probably would have been struggling for intimacy too. But see, we judge and we blame and we place fault instead of just taking responsibility. We can't look around us and blame everyone else. Karma is you dumping your energies out into the world like drops of tint in a gallon of paint. And once they're there, you can't just take the tint out of the paint. So you can't complain about what happened. I'm telling you, you cannot complain about what happened. Lesson number 7, I'm driving down the road. It switches to lesson number 8. And it literally said, someone who is a serial killer is feeling all of these emotions come up. And the only way for them to release the emotion is go do what they did. And then they feel so much better. And I was like, what? I mean, it's not like it's right. It's not like it's humanly even, you can't even imagine it. But the next thing he said is the abuser will go and abuse to release the energy because there's no way for it to get out. And then we want to blame them when they were just to survive. He said, imagine a teapot. This teapot is boiling, and you go put your finger on it, and the teapot will combust. It will explode. People are the same way with energies that come up that they resist and they try to push down, and the only way out is their behavior. I don't think about killing anyone anymore. There was a day I did. I don't think about ever cheating or stealing or lying or drinking. I can't understand that. Like, to me, that just magnifies my problem. I would just be bawling, bluthering idiot, or I would be the life of the party, right? But I'm not to judge those that do. And everyone has childhood trauma. He said, the heroin addict, they want to get away from whatever's coming up. And one day they tried that and it helped. And they don't want to be a heroin addict, but they have to go hit it because it's the only way to not feel the energy that's coming up. So while you're blaming the person that stole your car, stole from your business, hurt you verbally, took all your money, fired you out of their anger, like whatever it was, try to, for 1 minute, just be a butterfly in the air looking down on this crazy world. He said, I like to complain that it's hot. I'm in Arizona today. I hate heat. I do complain about heat. I'm a redhead. I'm white. I'm very fair-skinned white, like very fair. Sun can make me sick, but I love the lake, right? And he said, I want you to think that billions of years created this planet. And you, if I were on Mars looking down at this wonderful world spinning, I'm one little tiny fleck in this universe. And he said, on Mars, there's a bunch of whatever, climbing around. There's not all of this. And he said, but you, the universe decided to bless you and bring you down to this planet, your mother and father, which you chose, and you're experiencing this life, and you're complaining that the brightest star in the universe right now is making me sweat. The brightest star in the universe is shining on me, and I'm complaining that it's hot. Man, I'm never going to complain that it's hot again. It really made me think of how grateful I should be for everything that I'm experiencing. This is a roller coaster called life, and I get to be here one more day. I got to wake up today. Is it painful? Oh my God. Is it a struggle every single day? Does my heart ache more than any of you know? Am I tired, physically exhausted, emotionally spent? But I choose to keep waking up with gratitude that I am on this planet, that I am blessed with 3 incredible children, all on their own journey, and I get to be a part of that. Don't wish that it was easier. Wish that you were better. Listening to this, he explained me to a T. And I want you guys to think about any time of your life where you've been in the middle of, something that's going on and you've stored up all these things. So for me, I've stored up a lot of just regret. And I think if I were to die today and give away millions of dollars, I would donate my entire acreage and everything I have to suicide awareness, addiction, depression, and mental health. Because I love to help people. And the one time that I wasn't able to be there and help someone, I have stored up and carried for a really long time. My partner in business will say, Barb, you are such a pushover. At our bottling plant, the girls in the office say, Barb, you give away everything. Like, why did you just give that lady all of that? She would have paid for it. They call me bend over Barb, literally. Like, Barb, you have no backbone. It doesn't mean I'm weak. It doesn't mean that I'm weak. It means that my life experience, my energy on this circling planet is to give and to love and to forgive, right? I don't need to be the one that is stern and has all the rules. I don't need to be in the spotlight. I really don't need to be in the spotlight. What I want is peace, fun, and memories with the people that I love with absolutely no regret. That's what I want. If it's not fun, I literally don't want anything to do with it. Doesn't mean I won't work. Doesn't mean that I won't sacrifice. Doesn't mean that I won't give. Doesn't mean I won't take a risk or go through times that aren't fun. I do that every day. Right now, my life is not fun. Not even a little bit of fun. But it's a chapter. It's not a lifetime. It is a chapter, not a lifetime. What you're going through right now is a chapter. It's not a lifetime. And God has allowed this to happen in your life. So you've got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And you've got to figure out when the energies come up to take a deep breath and relax and release, because this is your experience. The universe is bringing this to you because of what you are thinking every single day. This was the analogy. You're drowning. You think you're drowning. You're like, oh my God, I'm drowning, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. What would you do right now if you were drowning? You would be kicking, you would be screaming, you would be freaking out. And anyone that came to help you, you would probably be in such a panic. You would grab them, try to pull them right down with you and drown them with you while they're trying to save you. And the author said, I want you to think about times in your life when you've been drowning. You're not even drowning. You're collecting past experiences that say, oh my God, I'm drowning, I'm drowning, I'm drowning, I'm drowning. This is probably going to happen to me again. And you're not even in 6 inches of water. He said, imagine yourself the next time you feel like you're drowning. I'm very conservative. I have been built it all and lost it all twice. When my money gets to a certain amount, and it can be a lot going down, I literally am like, nope, we're drowning, right? Because I'm never going to not have 3 months saved sitting. I'm never going to go buy a brand new car and lease it. Even if I'm making $1 million a month, I will not allow it, because I go back to, I'm drowning, right? Right now, my car needs struts, has 100,000 miles on it. I backed into a pole. My bumper is broken. When I back up, it goes beep, 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 and there's nothing even around me. And my husband's like, Barb, you need to go get a new car. I don't want a new car. I don't need a new car. I don't care about cars. I could pay cash for a car. I don't want a new car. I want assets that make me money, because When I get new car, I think I'm drowning, right? So never going there again. It's like the stove that's hot. Never gonna have the stove, right? I don't need debt. I don't need stuff. I don't need to show you how fancy my car and my house and my pool is, because that is pain. That is pain. What I need to do is give away and love and donate and fix, because that's how I feel like I'm not drowning. So I want you to self-examine yourself. What are you allowing to happen in your life? Because when good things start happening, you think it's okay. And then one little energy comes up and you go, I'm drowning. He explained me to a T. I will text one of my children. Not going to get into specifics, but this is me this week. Everything's going along great. We blow out candles on a birthday cake. We hang out with both Nanas. I leave town. I send a text every night. Good night. I love you. Every single kid. Every kid, every night for every year of my life since they've been in college and not under my own roof. The minute someone doesn't respond, my stop program would be, I'm drowning. I'm drowning. And it's so crazy because we create self-sabotage based on something that happened 20 years ago and the emotions that start to come up. When Dave and I first got married, we've never had any reason that I wouldn't trust Dave, but I came from an abusive relationship and I came from a dishonest relationship. I was engaged to be married. Dave and I ran away 3 months before the wedding. Call me a heathen, call me a whatever you want to call me. It was God. It was absolutely divine. Like he just came down, saved me, and took me out of a spiritual generational curse I would have been in. Grandma, mom and dad, here comes Barb. You know, here I was just going to step right into that same broken home syndrome. I know that would have been my life, but I got on my knees and I prayed and I said, I need help. And within 48 hours of me asking, God was like, here he is. And I was like, I don't want a broken up bull rider on crutches with a skinny little chicken egg and hair that was long as Keith Urban's when Keith Urban wasn't cool, calling me for a haircut, trying to take me to a concert when I'm engaged and he's engaged. No, God, wrong answer. You know what's funny? Sometimes we resist the greatest blessings in our life based on past experiences that we've stored up where we think we're drowning. Where we think we're drowning. We're not drowning. We're swimming. And God is trying to help us have this victory. And we think thoughts that aren't even real. And we create a reality